Welcome back, my fellow degenerates. Week 5 is wrapped up, and it was another wild ride for us. We had a couple of key games go into overtime, as well as seeing the resurgence of the passing game. This week, we had nine. I repeat, nine quarterbacks throw for 300 plus yards. I think week 1, we had one quarterback, so big change. We love to see it. In this new episode format, we'll break down Dan and I's picks from last week. Not going to lie, Dan bested me this week. But let's not forget, we had to give him some freebie bullshit points for Javante Williams. Dan's done so bad this year, so we'll give it to him this week. Overall though, we went 7 for 10. Pretty good combination score. Then we'll give you guys our thoughts on every matchup from week 5. Talk about who we liked, some risers, some fallers, as well as some potential frauds to avoid buying into the hype on. That's about all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, good luck in all of your fantasy football endeavors, unless you're in one of our leagues, because then luck ain't going to save you. Peace.
In audio.
Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to the DGen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Dan Schmader. With me tonight is Simon McQuinn and Dylan Rains.
Yellow.
Welcome back after another fantastic week of fantasy football. And I say that somewhat facetiously
Yes.
because there are some good things and bad things that happened last week. We were just talking about it a second ago, but one of the good things is that there's teams airing it out again. So we had some good hits this week, some great games to watch, and a lot of fantasy points scored for receivers for the first time all season. But before we get into our week 5 reactions and key takeaways, Dylan and I have to do our thing real quick and see whose player picks worked out.
Yep.
I'm just going to run through mine all the way through.
Yep.
QB, RB, receiver, tight end. And I kind of cheated, Dylan, because I picked 2 RBs. But
Yeah.
QB hit, Caleb Williams had the best game of his career.
Yeah, he
It was like
did.
5 games long. Yeah, but
Still counts.
Ramondre, after being benched, I can't believe I even picked him, honestly. I don't know what I saw of him because they're playing the Dolphins and they're trash. Major hit after Antonio Gibson was supposed to be the starter. Ramondre answers. Najee Harris is a miss. And we'll talk about him later, but that was the easiest matchup he's going to have all season long. T. Higgins versus the Ravens. That's a huge hit.
Yeah, that was a
It's
big
crazy.
game.
Scoring touchdowns again. Burrow looks like he's Burrow again. Bengals still lose, of course. And tight end streamer of the week was Noah Fant versus the Giants. Matchup-based pick. He got 4.5 out of 6.2, and I will happily take that in the tight end landscape these days.
So funny to hear that, but it's so true with this season.
And my bonus pick, which we both agreed was a +2, was Javante Williams.
I feel like I was
With my
strong-armed into this +2,
You
but we'll
were.
give it to you.
I just kind of slipped in at the end, but
Yeah.
Javante Williams had a good game against a really soft opponent. So we'll see where he goes. So better week, still not perfect.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is my guy again.
There you go. He's
Taking it back.
back. So you went 5 for 6 despite 2 misses. I suppose that checks out. You know,
Thank you, Javante.
my pick, Brock Purdy at quarterback against the Cardinals. Niners just fell flat. Brock scored 15 points, so not quite a hit. We call that one a miss. I picked Trey Sermon. He got the touchdown. He got all the rushing volume, so he was a hit as well. Same game, I went with Michael Pittman, who had a good game. He got that short touchdown right at the beginning of the game and then a few more catches throughout. So not a great game from him, but pretty solid fantasy PPR wise. And then finally, Cole Kmet just eking by with enough points to make him serviceable. So I think he had 8 points roughly. So we take that.
Caleb came through
Yeah.
for us all. So, guys, I think week 5 breakdowns. This had to have been the most exciting week of football yet, correct? Like all those close games.
Yeah. A couple OT games. Yeah. So, I mean, the week started off with a banger, right? Thursday night football, we had the
Oh, yeah.
Falcons Bucks game went to overtime. Falcons came away with it 36-30. I think the big storyline here was Kirk Cousins throwing the ball 58 times.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Bucks have a terrible secondary, so you can't take too much away from it, but you do love to see their receivers getting more volume. But I would not. That's like got to be their max ceiling,
Yeah.
especially London.
Oh, for sure.
But I do think his floor is getting higher
Yeah.
if he continues to get 8 to 12 targets a game.
Yeah. Another key guy here, Kyle Pitts, best game of the year.
Oh,
15.8 points in PPR. No touchdown, but 7 catches, 80 plus yards. Love to see it. But like I said, Kirk Cousins,
Don't expect.
509 yards. That's
Yep.
And then one other keynote is what I've been telling you guys all off season. And last week we harped on this in the video, but Bijan Algier, Bijan put up, I think, 10.7 points in full point. Disgusting. So
Disgusting.
yeah.
If I'm a Bijan owner in redraft, I'm dying.
Yeah.
One more note about this game is the timeshare with Bucky and Rashad. It seems like it's going well for the Bucks. Like Rashad's way more efficient in that role. This is something to note and keep an eye on because if both those guys are healthy, I'm not sure how much he can
Rashad's more efficient. What are you smoking?
Yeah, he went 10 for 72.
Yeah, he had a 56-yard run, and then his other 9 carries, he got 16 yards, and then he had 3 catches for -6 yards.
Well, somebody, a Bucky owner,
Dude, maybe
Jesus, dude.
that's 12. That's
The point
12,
is
Bro.
Rashad's last 2 games.
dude. That's 12 touches for 10 yards outside of that long run.
Yeah. Okay, Bucky's way better.
That sounds like efficiency.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that
Yeah.
efficiency, but
His last 2 games, he's averaging 7 yards a carry. How he gets there, just don't watch the game.
yeah. Bucky had that terrible fumble too towards the end of the game. That was a dagger. So
That was a good fantasy game.
yeah,
Speaking of
One of the-
efficiency, Darnell Mooney had 16 receptions,
no, 16
5 yards.
targets.
16 targets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
kind of crazy volume.
yeah. So don't expect this, anyways. And then our next game of the week was our first London game. I don't know about you guys. I hate the London games. That 9:30 start, just not a fan. We had the Jets and the Vikings. Vikings win 23-17. And my key takeaway is the Jets D is actually pretty good. Darnold got exposed a little bit. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I mean, one of the takeaways is G. Willie had 22 targets and had like a coming out party against a pretty good defense in the Vikings themselves. So
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson owners probably have to feel pretty good about that because the Vikings do have a very strong defense this year.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Aaron Jones got injured,
Yeah.
and there's not too much to be super excited about for Vikings during that game. Besides, JJ still had decent output despite Arnold's worst game of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the Vikings offense kind of was stagnant in that game. I don't know, they kind of got exposed a little bit. I think Darnold was kind of missing a bunch of throws, but yeah, I mean JJ got like what, 15 points?
Yeah.
So you can't like complain, but if he's your number 1 guy, it's still
They were playing for the
interesting.
pass interference though as well. He had like 3 or 4
Yeah.
calls, I think, at least throughout the game. So much better NFL game than fantasy game.
Yeah. And then they lose Jones. So
Yeah.
I mean,
They're on a bye next week, so we'll see if he misses time. But I would expect
Yeah.
Aaron Jones to miss some games
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah. All right. So moving to the next game, we had the Bears, Caleb's coming out party. Not in the way you think though. And then slaughtering the Panthers 36-10. So
Was that a gay joke?
it might have been,
Nice, dude.
but who knows? I didn't say it, you did.
But,
Yeah, I mean Caleb had a great game, 300 plus yards, Swift still somehow producing 20 plus points in PPR.
Yeah.
DJ Moore feasting after a very slow start. So promising game from the young team.
Yeah,
Chuba
as
Hubbard is
people expected, DeAndre Swift was RB2 on the week, so
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard is the RB7 on the year now.
Yeah, he is.
What do you think about when what's his name? Jonathan Brooks
Brooke.
Yeah.
comes back? Are we like what are we looking at here? Because Chuba is playing well enough now where it's like the team probably won't let a rookie, and people always assume there'd be like a 4-game ramp up
Yeah.
before he like really took off. But is that going to be a thing now where like Brooks is still going to take over, but just maybe it takes more time than expected?
I think it takes still. I'd kind of call this season a wash,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, he hasn't even started practicing yet.
Yeah.
I
His
think
last
it.
week we
I think
said-
it'd be. I think it'd be like late season before you saw any crazy production out of him.
Yeah, because last week we were talking about Chuba as a sell candidate.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, put together such a nice body of work that like maybe you hold.
Yeah. I'm starting to
Because-
think they don't move off of Chuba, especially with their slow start. I mean, I think they're 1-4 now. If they're like 1-6, 1-7, and Jonathan Brooks is ready to come back, like, what's the rush? Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to rush this rookie back from an ACL when your team is like terrible.
Yeah.
And I think this Panthers is kind of more the norm than the first 2 weeks with Andy Dalton. We kind of saw it coming, or like it was not surprising that Dalton took a couple steps back. So maybe he's just resting for much longer for Jonathan Brooks. So I just keep Chuba for now.
Yeah. I think if you're a Brooks owner, it's a good sign that Carolina can have a run game like this. But yeah, I'm with Dylan. I imagine they're going to be like 1-6, 1-7. He's going to be ready to go, and they're not going to put him in there.
Yep. All right, let's move on to a more exciting game. Probably the best game of the week, in my opinion, was the Ravens Bengals overtime game, 41-38, capped off by an OT run by Derrick Henry for 50 plus yards to set up a field goal. This game was amazing. Like Dan said earlier, Joey B is back, and Lamar went absolutely nuclear as well. So it was a fun one to see. Any thoughts for fantasy purposes? I know Zach Moss has an injury now. Chase Brown looked decent in filling in. So
Yeah, I would start Brown next week if Moss is out.
yeah,
But there's not much to say. I mean, both quarterbacks threw for big yardage. So like Chase had a massive game. T. Higgins had a huge game. Mark Andrews had 5 catches or 4 catches for like 50 yards. So that's kind of a standalone game. I'm still not starting Andrews. I'm not starting Likely. I will play Chase Brown though with no Moss, unless the matchup is just like absolutely dog shit next week.
yeah,
But I like him. He's got some oomph, you know.
Do you guys think Lamar is the solidified QB1 for fantasy now
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
over
easily.
Josh?
Yeah,
I mean, Jalen's taking a huge dive, and Josh is up and down.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that running game being the way it is right now seems like it's just point heaven.
yeah. I will say none of the receivers on the Ravens are exciting though. Still,
No.
I mean, Lamar threw for 350 yards, and Zay Flowers had 18 points.
Yeah.
Likely got 2 touchdowns, but he only had 3 catches for 13 yards. Big Pete Kolar, or Charlie Kolar, that's what it is.
Yeah.
He had some quite some good games. So I saw something from him in like the post game, and he was like, "Yeah, Lamar told me the fat guy shouldn't fall and try and get into the end zone instead next time." So total
Nice.
goober. I love him. So, but yeah, outside of Zay Flowers, you can't really start any receiver there.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on to the worst game of the week, Dolphins Patriots right here. Dolphins eking by 15-10. Um, this game
There's nothing to
sucks.
say about this game.
Yeah, this
The only
game.
thing to say is Ramondre, his sell window is back open
Yeah,
because I'm just not. I still don't trust the Pats. He had a good game, so I would try to trade him again.
yeah, yeah. And then the Dolphins are pretty much unplayable with Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson, whoever comes in next week. It doesn't matter between the two of them. So that's about all we got there.
People benching Tyreek Hill.
I have Tyreek in 2 leagues. I can't bench him. I have like players I could play instead, but like there's no reason you can bench him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Would
have
you play Mooney over Tyreek Hill?
no, not Mooney, but maybe
Bring
DeAndre.
the
Yeah.
Packers.
I might play DeAndre Swift over him next week. You never know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got
Come over to
BTJ.
come over to the good side.
I
Dylan.
got start BTJ, Mike Evans, and then DeAndre Swift over Tyreek. That's a possibility I might do next week, which that pains me to think about. All right, next game we got the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, our new love child, just smoking the Browns 34-13. Jaden had a little bit of a rough game though, compared to usual. I mean, fantasy points, he got a great game, but passing wise, far and away his worst game. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns suck.
That Brown
dude. Like,
that Browns defense has really surprised me.
yeah,
I think they were ranked like 13th or something coming into the season, and last year they were top tier, but they look absolutely horrible this year. I mean, the whole team does.
yeah,
But with that said, like you said, Jaden, he didn't have great completion percentage, which he's been touted on for his first 5 weeks.
yeah,
yeah, but don't you kind of
But-
love to see that and him still put up points?
yeah. He had 80
I mean,
rushing
yeah.
yards.
Yeah, like that's a guy that I love it when if he threw for 50% completion and then still scored, you know.
I mean,
I
he's
imagine it was 25.
what is he?
points or something like
He's
that.
QB2, right? On
Yeah.
the season,
Yeah, I think so now behind
in full
Lamar.
PPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until Flacco gets a couple more games under his belt.
Yeah. Yep.
Give it a couple more.
So next game we got the Colts, Jags over. Oh no, this one wasn't overtime. This was end of regulation. Jags come away with their first win of the season. 37-34. Like I said, Flacco got the start. Absolutely balled the fuck out. 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. Probably worth the pickup because he's going to be available in most leagues. I mean,
He's gonna chuck it.
yeah. So Trey Sermon filled in. He had quite a decent game, I suppose, with the touchdown. Some passing involvement. He got 6 catches for 20 yards, which is Camara numbers, but we like that for PPR. What did you guys think about T-Law and Brian Thomas Jr., those guys?
Oh, they look
thought-
great. ETN is a major red flag
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
But it was good to see the passing game work out. But Bigsby's like kind of good,
Yeah.
like actually. You know,
And
so-
and Dougie P has like one of the worst coach speak index ratings, and
Yeah.
he said ETN was still our guy, so that basically means Bigsby's the man.
I think ETN did get a little banged up or something I saw at some point during the game, but Bigsby had double the carries. ETN did have some passing down work, so that's going to still get him some points, but you have to just pray he comes in as a low-end RB2 if you took him,
Yeah,
which is very bad for his third-round
yeah, it's pretty
ADP.
low.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
they look good though. When T-Law's on, I don't know. That's why I like Brian Thomas Jr. so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't even look like a flashy game, and he had 120 yards and touchdowns. So
Yeah. He gave us that great meme picture as well. So we like
Yeah.
that. That was a good one. And then we had a little bit of a slugfest down with the Bills and the Texans. Texans coming away with a 23-20 win. Big keynote fantasy wise, Nico Collins hamstring injury. If you played him, that's okay because he got a long touchdown, still put up 15 points, but hamstring, no bueno. We all know that. He's week to week. So if I had to guess, he's probably out at least this week. We'll see going forward, but that's a fucking bummer, man. I love me some Nico.
They're probably just sitting him against the Pats.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah, he's a
Isn't-
beast.
And guys every week. Brutal.
yeah,
What are you doing with Tank Dell?
I think Tank Dell you can't play.
Even with Nico out, I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
He's kind of. It all went to Diggs afterwards. It's not a surprise,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and then Schultz was the number 2 leader.
Yeah.
Tank Dell's in the mud.
Yeah. Because Nico went out
So
very
what-
early as well. So,
He's a worse Zay Flowers. That's what he is.
yeah.
Good comp. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And then in terms of on the other side, the Bills just look like a complete mess. Josh Allen, 9 for 30 with 130 passing yards. I don't
Wow.
Yeah. 9 for 30 is
Wow.
crazy.
Have you
James
have
Cook
we
had a
ever
good
have we
game.
seen a Josh Allen fantasy season like this where it's that up and down? I was looking at it and it was like single
Last year.
digit and then double digit, single digit every other week
Yeah.
so far.
I don't think it's been this bad.
No. He wouldn't. He would have terrible games and then still finish with like acceptable fantasy points.
Yeah.
The Bills are just they've not been good. You know, they either blow a team out or they look horrible. But James Cook had a good game, so if you're a James Cook guy, you lucked out because the receivers on that team are not worth it. Shakir maybe when he's back, but you
Yeah.
can't really start Keon and Dalton Kincaid.
Nope.
And Bills fans hate Diggs.
Yeah. All
I
right.
don't know what they're saying.
Moving on to another turd fest game. We had the Broncos and the Raiders, man. This one was I think some people are gonna get really high on the Broncos this right now. And
Yeah.
their players specifically. Javonte Williams, like I don't think the Broncos are scoring 34 points very often. Obviously, they had the defensive touchdowns to Surtain with the 100-yard interception return, but I just don't see a script where the Broncos are ahead that often. So really sad game from them. Raiders as well. Minshew looked awful. Aiden O'Connell came in, didn't fare much better. The only good player on their team right now, Brock Bowers, he's feasting. But that's with the Devontae out as well. So I don't know if you can
Yeah,
play.
We can never
Yeah. So
run Devontae. My notes on
think-
this game were who gives a shit.
yeah.
That was like,
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much. Unless you have
Broncos are 3-2 though.
yeah. It's
Just
so
surprising.
Bo Nix did have a clean game. He had 3 touchdowns, 200 something yards, but he still had one of the lowest average yards per completion.
yeah.
So it's not like exciting stuff.
Yeah. Moving on.
Any game where
Oh,
Portland Sutton looks good,
yeah.
it's a wash game. Like don't do
It's a
it.
trap.
Sutton didn't even look good. He had like 2 catches for 30 yards.
He looks swift, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spry.
Yeah. He had some nice hip movement in that first down.
Right.
Next up, we have Simon's 49ers getting booty smacked by the Cardinals 24-23. Simon, let's hear your thoughts on this game.
Yeah. I would say I'm panicking, but I'm really not. The Niners have slow starts like this. I think in 2020 they started 4-5, made the NFC Championship game. I don't know. I think people are realizing what CMC actually does for a team.
Yeah.
I mean, Ayuk finally had a good game, and it didn't matter. I mean, that's two losses to divisional opponents that are pretty bad.
Yeah. What did you guys think about Debo? He had 1 catch. Are you
Yeah, Debo was
are you panicking?
Debo's so up and down. I feel like I'm always panicking on Debo.
Yeah.
Kittle is by far the most valuable piece on that offense
Yeah.
when CMC's not there.
Yeah.
You have a big game.
And
Yeah.
Kittle had a big game. He had 2 touchdowns.
Nice.
No, he just had one.
Did he?
Yeah.
What?
All right. So Pack and Rams.
Yeah.
Packers and Rams. That was a game.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I don't really know. Kyron's kind of disappointing, even though he's getting like the 100-yard games, the touchdown. And it's just like he had the fumble as well. So you kind of want to see
Man, I'm
more
happy
from him.
with him.
Yeah.
I'm very happy
He's-
with Kyron. Whittington is becoming serviceable with those guys out also. Like he's starting to soak up targets.
Yeah.
And I would legitimately, depending on the matchup, would like legitimately consider him as a flex play. Also Tucker Kraft. I mean, that's how fucked up this season has been. Absolute dog. Reed is legit. What are you doing about Josh Jacobs if you're a Josh Jacobs owner?
I'm trying
Because
to
I imagine if you trying to trade him.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell him right now. I'm kind of worried about him.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
he got the touchdown. He got 20 carries, 70 yards. He had a catch for 20 yards, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried for him. So I don't think he's gonna have great output. So I think if he had like another decent game, it'd be easier to trade him. But he's still putting up like 15 points. So, but I'm worried.
Yeah. So this might be the time to trade.
Yeah,
Because his name like still packs a punch.
yeah, he still has the name value. All right, next game, kind of a surprise. Giants beating the Seahawks, 29-20. Did you guys watch this game?
Yeah. Tyrone
Yeah.
Tracy is the truth.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he is.
Yeah, he's a beast. I think the Giants found their running back.
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
Why
He
don't
looked good out
Why
there.
don't you like him?
I think I don't like him because he didn't have any passing game involvement. And I don't think the Giants are ever gonna be like commanding a
Yeah.
game
Good
like
point.
this. They were up the whole time. Tracy had 20 carries, and what was that other guy's name? Eric Gray?
Yeah,
Something.
Eric Gray.
He was like
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, he was the third down back for most of the series. So I think if that's the case, Tracy's ceiling is just a lot lower, even though he looked good. So I think you got to pump
Right,
the
but you're
brakes.
getting him out of waivers. Like if you have Tyrone already, you probably didn't draft him. And then I picked him up out of waivers last week. So I feel like that's kind of a steal.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just saying you have to pump your brakes on him. I don't think he's like gonna be the catch-all running back there. I mean, Singletary's gonna be back soon, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna be winning most games. And Malik Neighbors was out as well, who's the key piece on their offense. So
Yeah.
I think this is probably Tyrone Tracy's best game of the year fantasy wise. Granted, you drafted him late. I don't know. Do you disagree?
No, I think there's reason to be excited about him. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. I don't think he's going to be a top 20 running
Yeah,
back.
it is the Giants.
Yeah.
If you picked him up last week and he did that, it's kind of exciting. But I wouldn't expect a top 15 finish from Tyrone without the passing game involvement.
Yeah.
On a weak offense. But yeah, I mean, if he's in your waivers, I would certainly try to pick him up this week, considering the state of some of our running back rooms.
That's true. And then in terms of the Seahawks receivers, I think it was disappointment all around. Tyler Lockett had a decent game coming in somehow once again. Kenneth Walker really salvaged his game with the passing. He had 7 catches for 50 yards, considering he only put up 19 yards on the ground. It was a rough one for him after his monster game with 3 TDs last week.
Yeah, he only had 5 carries, right?
Yeah. The team had 11
Yeah.
carries total.
The Giants front is pretty nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, they dominated time of possession. So, and then moving on to Sunday night's game in the Rain Bowl. Kind of a disappointing game for any of the heavy hitters out there: CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, George Pickens. Cowboys coming away 20-17. Our star of the game, my RB2, Rico Dowdle. Dan, how do you feel
22
about taking
carries.
CeeDee Lamb first in a couple leagues?
I'm not like too concerned about it yet because
Yeah,
last year he didn't really shine until like they're halfway by.
yeah, I agree.
But the team does feel different this year. They have Rico had a good game this time and got good volume. They've struggled before that. Cooks is now injured, but Tolbert had a good game, so I'm not like super concerned about it. If the team was like formatted differently, like my fantasy teams, I might be super dependent on CD.
Yeah,
But I still think he's a high end talent with a really good quarterback behind him.
yeah. I saw this one. Two things I'm worried about CD was like Dak still did throw for 350 yards. And then this is going all around Twitter right now, but in the second half of all the games so far this season, CD has 4 catches for 25 yards across 5
In the
games.
second half of games,
Yeah, so 5
that's
games.
being
Yeah, it's
not
fucking
being relied upon.
yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a little frustrated down there.
Yeah, I kind of hate having CD on a team. It's the first time I've ever had him on one.
Yeah,
I
but
don't trust the Cowboys at all.
I feel like they're going to get it together and then disappoint right before playoffs as usual, right?
Yeah.
They'll make a little run. And that leads us to last night's Monday night matchup, the Kansas City Chiefs 5-0 taking down the Saints, who the Saints are the most frustrating team I think to watch as a Chris Olave owner and Alvin Kamara owner. Like, I don't know what's Derek Carr's deal.
He sucks.
I think the new system they're running, like he's used to playing out of shotgun.
Yeah,
He's used to kind of like controlling his own fate a little bit. And now they're in like a under center play action, kind of like zone run read, where if Kamara is not getting loose, then really all they have is like the deep ball to Rashid, which to Carr's credit, like he's hit it a few times.
yeah,
It's a total drive killer if you miss it. You do it on, you run with Kamara on first, he gets a yard, they take a shot on second, and then they just miss the third down, short completion. It happened like every drive last night besides their one successful touchdown with Shaheed.
yeah. Those
Their play calling is super questionable. I mean, like Dan said, if Kamara can't get out there quick enough, Carr's just dropping back and immediately getting smothered. That offensive line is rough. That's what's so wild about how good Kamara is, still being RB1 this year. Is just, I don't know how he's doing that.
Yeah. It's very frustrating. It's just so weird. Derek Carr is just not a fit for the Shanahan system. So, which is
No.
You don't have to worry about him for the next couple weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big name.
Rattlesnake perhaps making his appearance.
I'd love
Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen saw Jake Hainer go 2 for 7 and just run out of the pocket after one ounce of pressure came at him, and was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
Rattlesnake's starting."
Knowing how much pressure he's going to take too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how he does. Hainer was a 3rd round drafted quarterback last year.
So
So decent draft capital. So I would be pleasantly surprised if they moved off of him this week.
Yeah.
But despite how bad he played, I still think they might give him the start.
Yeah.
Would you start Olave if that was the case?
Oh,
no.
Can't.
dude,
You can't
Olave.
do
It's definitely it'd just be a Kamara legacy game.
Yeah.
They need Jamal Williams.
Yeah,
legacy.
their offense might be like so bad though that you don't even. You're playing Kamara, but like he's just gonna have another terrible game, like 10 points.
Yeah.
Their only saving grace is that they get to play the Buccaneers and the Panthers,
The Falcons.
and the Falcons. Well, the Falcons' defense is actually
Yeah,
not bad.
their defense looking real nice. That secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next week 6, we got a couple of key buys. The Chiefs, the Dolphins. Dolphins not really a key buy anymore, but coming into the season, very key. And then the Rams and the Vikings as well. So, Dan, this kind of hits your one dynasty team pretty hard. Vikings and Rams.
Byron, JJ,
Yeah,
both gone.
that's brutal.
And we'll see what happens with Devontae. I haven't heard any news yet.
I know.
He did cancel his appearance on the Pat McAfee show.
Devontae?
Devontae.
Huh?
Or no. Different.
On K Adams.
Oh.
Kay Adams. Yes.
Yeah.
Kay Adams podcast.
Yeah.
And she was suggesting like it's because he's got business to handle.
He's
but-
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, dude, if he goes to the Jets, like that's not exciting either.
Is
I don't
there
know,
any?
Maybe they have such a rhythm together that he'll be good with Rodgers still.
What do you think's the most exciting landing spot?
The most
Chiefs, I
exciting.
think, possible.
What?
The Chiefs is the most exciting, but
Yeah.
it can't happen.
Yeah,
The
That's the most
commies.
exciting.
the com-
Commies, that'd be nice too.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd fit in on the Commanders.
Rest in peace, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, he gets like 2 good games of like feeling the effects of a good QB, and then it's gone.
yeah.
What would raise his fantasy value most, though, is the Chiefs. No competition besides Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes.
Juju
I
Smith
would say
Schuster.
dynasty. Yeah, Juju had a game.
Yeah, dude. So funny.
He's back.
I feel like the Chiefs would be kind of tough though. I thought it would be sick at first, but then I thought about it and was like, it might be like a Diggs on the Texans. In a sense. I
Like
just
a
like
Travis
really don't see him
Etienne
going
kind
there
of
and being like dominant.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Devontae's different. He's so good.
I imagine Devontae
Yeah.
with Mahomes, they would make it work.
Yeah.
And there's no Nico in your way. But Travis Kelsey has also like gotten his value back with the Rashid gone.
Yeah, he has. Big time.
Alrighty, so that's week 5. Week 6 coming up. We'll be putting out an episode in the next couple of days to talk about our starts of the week, desperation plays, and we'll probably review some matchup stuff too to see
Yeah.
which matchups are best to try to get in on. There's a lot of good like NFC South shit defense versus shit defense
Yeah.
matchups that are coming up. Except Chuba plays a really good D or
Oh.
Atlanta's front. But we'll get into that next in a couple days.
Yeah.
Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon enough.
See you guys.
See you guys.